Hey YouTube, Electric Adventures here with the next video in my A to Z of my MSX collection, where I'm going through each letter of the alphabet and picking a game out of my physical MSX collection and doing a gameplay of it. Now the game is not necessarily the best game under that letter. A lot of it maybe were a lot to do with my nostalgia from back in the day of how I remember a game. Some letters we've had more choices than others. And other letters have only had the one, so it's been an interesting way through. We're all the way up to the letter T now, and there are a few games, nowhere near as many as there were for S. I'm actually going to start with one that it's one of my absolute favourite arcade games, and the version for MSX is unfortunately disappointing. The Coleco version is better. There are actually two different games, which is not always the case between the Coleco and the MSX, but it's Time Pilot, that's the one I'm talking about. I've just got a loose copy. And it's almost like the MSX version, they've tried to improve the graphics a little bit over the Coleco version, but it just doesn't play as well. The Coleco version gives you a far better experience. So if this had been a good version, I would have without a doubt picked this game, and it is a shoot 'em up after all. So not every MSX game is fantastic, I suppose, is the lesson we get from that. Now I'd also like to mention this pair of games. I almost considered picking these because these have surprised me quite a lot. So this one here I got very recently. This is Triton, I think it is. And this is the MSX1 game. Got this really recently, and it's a action RPG as it's called, so a bit of a multi-screen platformer where you go around, find dungeons and fight creatures. And it actually had a sequel. This copy here was what I thought was upgrading to a full copy of the MSX2 game, which is this one here, and this is Triton. And I actually really enjoyed this game, but I said I haven't really spent a lot of time with it. Both of these versions, only having them had a short time, so I couldn't let them override my nostalgic pick. And my nostalgic pick is pretty good. Now there's two games in the series. I'll be doing a gameplay of the first one, and they are Track and Field 1 and 2. Now it's split into two because obviously these are pretty much release titles for the MSX, and I would say, you know, later on memory chips got a little cheaper and they're able to fit on. Otherwise they probably would have released this as one cartridge back in the day. So our first one has the 100 metre dash, the long jump, the hammer throw and the 400 metre dash. And that's the one I most remember back in the day when we first got the MSX machines in on. And I mean, Track and Field had only just come in the arcades. And was very popular, and having something like that on a home computer, and it being, I mean, it is a very good version, and it shows how good Konami were at making MSX games and taking advantage of the machine. Now Track and Field 2, the second part, has 110 metre hurdles, javelin throw, high jump and the 1500 metre run. Actually quite interesting events, as showed in the Tubers High Score Challenge before we started the World Cup. I'm no good at the high jump, but I like the javelin and the hurdles. I'm good at that one, but I've never been any good at the high jump. 1500 metres is a long slog, but we'll have a go at the number one, which is my number, which you know is basically my pick for this letter. Yeah, we've got 4 events to have a play with. So without further ado, and without me babbling on for so much time, let's go and have some fun with Track and Field 1. Right, so here we go with Track and Field 1. I'm going to use my arcade stick, not the keyboard this time, and see if I can do a little bit. So expect some clicking. Oh, sorry, didn't press it fast enough. Let me go back. Right. So I was blown away by this game when I saw it back in the day for the MSX, and yeah, it just showed what clever programming could do on the system. Now, that's to say. I haven't played it for a little while, and I didn't do very good in the Tubers High Score Challenge, so I missed the start. So I'm just using my arcade stick here, and it does use left and right. One. I'm going to do that and throw on time in the next event. Is going to be another. As you can see, it's got great sound and all the important gameplay elements are there. Oops. So, obviously with the long jump you need to not foul, and then you've got to set the right angle for your jump. Okay. Look over here. Okay, at least we've done a valid jump. Have we gone here one far enough? So me looking this way is towards the capture and not the actual real screen. Oh, there we go, right on the line. Oh, that's not bad. It's a great version. Arcade version, as I found out recently, is harder. The only limit with them was the fact the fact that they could only put 4 events a cartridge, so it doesn't by themselves present a lot of variety. Considering how much the cartridges cost. Right, and I'm doing the back and forth thing. Then I realised you don't actually need to do that, you just press it once to get started. Oof, well, it didn't qualify. So we're going to be hard pressed to get to the 4th event now. Now that I've realised my mistake with that. Okay, so you just tap it once. Going, yes. Yay! We get to see all 4 events. Not bad score either. Alright, now we're going to have a running race. So let's get into it. Lead on me. He's going to kill me for 400 metres. Hands. Last 100 metres, let's go. Are we going to make the qualify time? Come on, let's go. Oh! Just beat the CPU. That's the only help that Spectravideo 2 actually has the 1500 metres. You try and do that sort of thing for 1500 metres. So that's all 4 events. So you get your score. So this game is really truly more about the nostalgia rather than the recovery. And then you go around again and the qualify times are harder. So I suppose it has gun sounds really loud. Oh, see, qualify. Wasn't trying enough. Okay. So that's the next one of my games in the A to Z of my MSX collection. I have really been enjoying the series, where we are running out of letters, and we're into some interesting ones too. So I'll be back soon with another one of these, but in the meantime, thanks to all my subscribers, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.